and welcome to a very special Barely Art Live.
A very special one.
Because today is, once again, all about Cards for Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
We are very excited. We are now March. What's today's date?
We're
like
great
halfway
question.
through.
Halfway through. Checking the phone.
March 15th.
The 15th.
We are halfway through.
Quite literally.
And we have
And it's halfway through the day.
And it's halfway through the day.
Yes, exactly.
And how are our CFC goals?
Our goals and our stats currently, we currently have 1,488 card makers of 3,000 that we're trying to get for this month. We have 40,000 pledged cards, 100,000. And the one that I actually really like is that we have 80 cases that are sponsored from all of you.
Thank you guys so much for supporting Cards for Cubs and the mission. Do you want to share that mission one more time?
Yes, absolutely. So our mission here at Cards for Cubs is to make sure that every kid has felt, or every kid that's in foster care has felt that they are loved and that they're special and that they're wanted. So our objective here is to create handmade cards to give to those children that are in those situations. And the way that we do that is by making encouragement cards and birthday cards in order for those foster care agencies and their staff members to be able to do the last little bit of writing in them and give them off to those kids that need them.
Yes, so today we are going to be making our last CFC cards on live.
Yes.
This will be our last CFC live, but you still have until March 31st to send in your cards. So please do make as many cards as you can. We'll give you the guidelines really quick and send them in because you have the rest of March to do so, and we welcome it.
Yep, absolutely.
All
and if you're
right.
getting kind of close towards the end too, don't worry. Just send your cards in. We're not going to turn them around. We just have that cutoff date so that it's written out in stone that this is the cutoff date. If you're really close to the edge, it's okay. We're not going to turn them around or anything like that.
And just so you guys know, if you are making cards with us today or afterwards this weekend, we have 5 guidelines to make sure those cards are able to get through our systems really quick. So number 1, cards should be handmade.
Yes. Step 1, handmade.
That really, as you know, as crafters, we all know that hand making gifts, at least that's my specialty around Christmas and birthdays. It really just shows the time that you took and the love and care you put into it, and that feeling passes on to the person who's receiving it. So number 1, hand make those cards. Number 2, foster care agencies request 2 types of cards from us. So those are our only ones we were accepting. It is birthday or encouragement cards. So a birthday card is pretty straightforward. A couple we have here, for example, is Happy Birthday and Many S'more. We made this one with on the CMSS live there with Brandy. And then we have this Stay Cool birthday polar bear right here. But the one we're making today for birthday is they have a whaley good birthday.
A whaley good birthday. And then for the we haven't done encouragement yet.
The encouragement over here that we made.
There we go.
The first one for the kickoff, we had this Wild and Wonderful card, which I think came out really cute. And the one we made with CMSS with Brandy is Sweeter Than Chocolate. Cute.
And then the one that we'll be making today is this lovely lemon. This lemon guy right here. And inside it says, Squeeze the Day. So we got 2 very punny cards right here ready to go for today's live.
Alrighty. And then guideline number 3. Please, we ask that you please send those in bundles of 10.
Yes.
So 10 encouragement cards, 10 birthday cards,
Yes.
10 of each.
Yes, please don't mix them up. And it gets
We
little,
need to separate them.
then we need to separate all of them. So we want them all bundled in 10s in those categories, etc. Like, let's say that for some reason you had an odd amount or whatever. Just make sure that all the birthdays and encouragements are, separated at least. Don't try to squish them all together, because what happens is that specific organizations request birthday cards and specific organizations request encouragement cards. And that really is dependent on how that organization works with those kids that are in foster care. So for those foster care agencies that are a little bit more on the long-term side of things, maybe they're dealing with teenagers, they might have a few birthdays there for them. But if it's someone else that works with foster care, maybe it's like for a court or something along that lines, that's a one-time deal. The chances of them actually getting birthday cards at that point in time on their birthday is a pretty lower chance. So they might request more encouragement cards than birthday cards.
So we keep them separate so we can count them up and able to get the cards that these foster care agencies request easy peasy.
Yes.
All right. Guideline number 4 is the cards to be paired with envelopes. So envelopes of the appropriate size. We have a bundle here actually for an example. This person has their pack of 10 and each card is with their envelope, is with their envelope. So this is a really good example of a pack of encouragement cards.
Yeah. 1 pack of 10 encouragement cards, all handmade.
Yes. And our 5th and final guideline is that we ask that the cards either have a short sentiment or are blank inside. So that's what we have here today. The have a whaley good birthday on the inside that we're making is blank. And the squeeze the day has a short sentiment of squeeze the day.
Yep. And so we want to make sure that there's enough information here for the foster care agent or the foster care, what are they called? Caseworkers, to be able to fill in the rest of the cards specific to that child in need. Because there's a lot of regulations and different things that we have to deal with, etc. We can't connect directly with those kids, etc. So what we want to do is provide the opportunity in a card so that the agency themselves can actually use this. The people that actually know the children the best can actually use these cards specifically for their kids.
Yes. Yeah. All right, and that's all of our card guidelines. Again, you can send those in from now until the end of March. We are more than happy to receive them and put them towards the final count of Cards for Cubs.
Yes. We currently have a tower. We're staring at a tower. There's not really a pan for that one, but there's a large tower of cards that is consistently building up over time. So
yes, it's a nice tower to have.
It is a nice tower.
Good tower.
I like it.
Alrighty, we can go ahead and get started. We will go through a couple more things as we craft today, but we will go ahead and grab our cards. So the first one we're going to do is the Squeeze the Day card.
Squeeze the Day.
Yes.
All right.
I got us a pink envelope for that, or a pink card for that one.
All right, so we've got our pink card here.
So the Squeeze the Day card is actually from our website. And it is the complete card except for the Squeeze the Day sentiment.
I see.
Everything else though is part of that card.
Very nice. So I assume the file is called Squeeze the Day.
I actually yes. I was like, wait, is it?
So yes, this is a very basic kind of cricketed cut card here. We have had a lot of people in the past that did hundreds, honestly, hundreds of the Joy insert cards is what they call them.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So you can definitely do those. Or you can make up your own, or of course download ours on our website, barely.art, to get this SVG specifically.
And there's plenty more SVGs if you want to make your own cards and puns.
Yes, indeed.
Right, I'm going to go to the chat and see what's happening on there.
Hello, chat.
Hi, we've got Catherine from South Texas.
Hello, Catherine.
She's
Texan.
got her pieces cut and ready to craft along.
All right. Hey, excellent.
What are you crafting today, Catherine? Are you also making cards for Cards for Cups? And then she says, Roseanne says hello to Catherine. They are saying hello and hope they're having both lovely days. We got Melinda, hi from North Carolina.
Hello, Melinda.
And we today are, of course, crafting from the Cards for Cubs / Barely Art headquarters in Arlington, Texas.
Good old Texas.
It's raining today.
It is very thunderstormy outside.
Yeah, it's pretty. I kind of like when it's light outside and raining. Because I like the rain, but I like how it's like, I like to be able to see things.
Yes, I see that. All right. So if you hear anything in the background, it's probably because there's lots of storms.
Yeah.
Just
might have some thunder. Let's see. Keep going with these comments. Someone says, let's see. Rita says hello from Southwest Florida.
Hello, Rita.
Hello. And then Pamela says, hi, my first time here. Hello, Pamela.
Well, welcome.
Glad to have you. Yes, you are here on a very special live because we are here for Cards for Cubs. Then we have Pamela's from North Ogden, Utah. Nice. And then Roseanne says, I mailed my first set of cards and hope you got them.
Hey.
Nice. You're probably in this tower that we were talking about a little bit ago.
Yes, we have the tower. And yeah, so what will end up happening as well is that whenever we do our day of sorting, which we'll get to here in a little bit, it'll be April 20th. So after that date, we should have pretty much a majority of them all in, and then you'll get a nice little email then saying like, hey, by the way, we got your cards. So
yeah, so don't be nervous if you haven't heard back from us yet.
You're
they
not
are here.
Hear back from us.
Yeah,
for a while.
we are. Cards for Cubs is volunteer based.
Yes.
meaning that not a lot of work gets done until there's someone able to volunteer
volunteers.
to get here. Right. So that is what the day of sorting is all
Yes,
about.
it
If you want to
is.
get to that. Let me see. Just want to make sure before we get started. Catherine had a question. She
Yes,
says, do y'all
Catherine.
have the sentiments somewhere for us, or do we just make them our own? Cards for Cubs has a few sentiments you can print and cut out. But for the most part, I think it's just on your own if you want to add one in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whatever it is that you want to put in there that's appropriate. Just remember to think about it in terms of we're not trying to remind anyone of their current situation. It's just supposed to be a little bit of encouragement, but not like a not like a get well soon kind of card, if you know what I mean by that. So
Yeah.
even though a lot of them can be like well intentioned, sometimes they can kind of come off a little bit off just because of the situation that those kids that are in.
And the sentiments we're using here today, those I did make. I just typed it out on my Cricut and then cut it out.
Yes.
So that's not part of the cards.
Yes, it is not.
Alrighty. Okay,
You can make it as funny as you want.
Yeah. Now we can get to the April 20th here in Arlington, Texas. We are going to do the day of sorting for CFC. And that's where we're going to gather as many volunteers as possible from all over DFW and invite them to a church that is kind enough to lend us their space and take all of our cards there and have them sorted, reviewed, and boxed and ready for any foster care agencies that are awaiting said cards.
Yes. So you might be kind of wondering, like, what happens to those cards, right? Well, first of all, they come here from you and then whatever box that you sent them, right? And so we take those, we open them up, we scan your little QR code thing that you have with your little, make sure that you print that in there and put it in there actually, the form, right? We scan that in, that gives you, that will then eventually send you an email that will say like, oh, thanks for your cards, things like that. We take all of them, we look through all of them, make sure that they're going to be appropriate, right? And then we'll pack them all up and then get them out the door and ship them out to those foster care agencies. So the day of sorting is the middle step of all of that, which is the looking through all the cards, scanning all the cards, and then packing those cards. So there's a lot that kind of happens behind the scenes there, but it does take a lot of manpower.
Alrighty. I realized I put my lemon down before I put the leaves down.
Oh, yes, you need
which
the
is
leaves.
okay. I'll just put it over.
Extra little leaves.
Extra little leaves.
A little lemon.
Little lemon. Alrighty. Something else we wanted to go over is the foster care agencies that you were just mentioning, kind of like how the journey of the cards.
Sure.
What they order is the kindness cases.
Yes. Okay. So what happens with those cards? And I want to make sure this is clear. This is not how you need to send them in. You do not need to make 150 cards.
Right.
Okay. Just getting that out there. You can make as few as 10. Okay. So what we do is we take all those bundles that you guys were giving us in those bundles of 10, and we put them into boxes that we already have of 150. And that's what we're actually sending to those foster care agencies in the end. Right. So we do that on the day of sorting, box them all up. So we take your boxes and put them in different boxes so that our agencies are able to get it all kind of the same thing and not just getting a bunch of random packages and things like that. So that's kind of how that happens. And those, what we called, when we repackage them, are called kindness cases.
Yes. So those kindness cases are full of either birthday or encouragement cards. And if you are a foster care agency, and you're watching right now, or you know someone, you can tell them to go to the Cards for Cubs website, cardsforcubs.org, and they can make an account and order their boxes.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely free, no paying for shipping, nothing, zero. And that is possible because of sponsors like you.
Yes, indeed. So what we want to do to make sure that everyone that is able to get these cards is that what we say is that we get sponsorships from people like you. Right. And so what we've done this year around is we kind of resituated some stuff. And now we're asking for sponsorships for each one of those kindness cases. And so the sponsor case stat that I mentioned before, we have 80 that are actually sponsored right now, 80, not 8 well, I guess that's the only thing, 80 cases that are sponsored right now from people like you that wanted to say, hey, that is willing to step in and say, hey, I'm going to make sure that this case can actually get to those agencies at free to cost to that agency, right? And so each one of those is $20 to sponsor one case each. And there's also some little lovely little gifts there too that come with them.
They're so cute. So it's in tiers of, it's like up to 5, I believe, cases you can sponsor, or you can sponsor more.
You can sponsor more than 5.
Like what we have set up on the gift section.
That's the end of the gifts.
Yeah. So if you sponsor one case for $20, you can get a set of stickers. And they're just really cute. And everything, like the stickers, there's one sticker that says, ask me how crafting can make a difference. And that's my favorite one.
Yes.
And then you can, if you sponsor 2 cases, the next one is, I believe, a mug. That's the same thing. And then 3 cases, you get a notebook. 4 cases, you get a tote bag. And then if you sponsor 5 cases, you can get a t-shirt.
Yes, indeed.
All with that, ask me how crafting can make a difference.
Yes. So we'd love to see more people sponsor it. Our goal for the year is 400 cases. That's all we need. We just need 400 cases and we're done for the year. And that means everything that came in is going to get out. And it's guaranteed to get out at that point or another. Just this year alone, we're a little slow from 2023, unfortunately. But just this year alone, the last time I checked, I think we've sent out about 400 and it's in the almost 500 cases so far.
Wow.
For this year alone. So we need about 400 more to make sure that all the new cards that are coming in are able to go back out as well. And we're so close. We're still far, but but it feels like it's a lot easier of a goal to say 400.
400.
Yes, 400 cases.
We're going to get there. I believe in us.
I believe. And we have more time to do it too.
Yes.
Nice. All right. So we haven't been talking too much on what we're doing here. However, we're just assembling our little lemon. And as you can see here, we have the black there. The only little difference is that I put the leaves underneath. Andrew put them on top there. And then there's that big yellow piece there, little Pac-Man piece there, then white, and then that lighter color yellow piece there as well. We're all using 60-pound cardstock for all of this. Of course, you can use different types of, maybe some like metallic paper or something for some citrusy insides.
Yeah, it would have been like yellow rind would be pretty.
Yep, and feel free to use other techniques and things. We usually like to stick to cut it and then stick it and then glue it because that's our product, and that's kind of what we enjoy doing is designing inside of Cricut and then making those cards as well. Whereas I know a lot of you are more on the artistic side of things and like to use embossing and die cuts and all these other things as well. We're not quite as good. Proficient first. Pick whatever word you want. We're not as good as it as most of you guys. So we tend to stick to the things that we know well. And at least at this point, we're able to provide you some free SVGs.
Yes. This one, again, the Squeeze a Day is meant to be a card. So no designing really on y'all's part. You can just go download it for free, make the card, and send it our way if you would like.
Yes. And I think it's a lot more fun than doing like the inserts, because the inserts, or the insert cards, I should say, because the insert cards can get a little bit repetitive, in my opinion. Very well-meaning, but they're just very like, okay, the Cricut cut it. Okay, now I put this insert inside of it and done. Card made. So great for efficiency, but not as much in terms of like love and care that's going into it. Not saying we don't want them. Let me make that clear.
Yes, please send those as well.
Please send all the cards. And so what we do too is that uncommon question that we get as well is like, do you want me to separate it by like girl, boy, or by different age ranges, or whatever it is that you have? We just separate it by encouragement and by birthday, and then we give them an assortment. So they kind of get a whole range of different things. We do ask if you can try to keep it as generalized as possible, right? However, if you have some ones that are a little bit more girly, throw in some ones that are a little bit more on the boy end, and what will end up happening is that they'll get that bundle and be able to use it however they need to.
Yes. And at some point, I do remember someone asked if designs can be repeated. Yes. If you make several lemon cards, we will accept several lemon cards.
Keep making, yes. You don't have to do a new design every single time. Not
we are
at all.
happy.
You can use the same design. 100 times if you want to. And the good thing is that we try to make sure that they're all kind of bundled up a little bit differently, so then they're all not just getting the same thing.
All right,
Squeeze the
Susan
day.
says, hello from Illinois. I just mailed my cards on Wednesday.
Thank you,
Very
Susan.
nice.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Susan.
And we didn't say this before, but if you want to sign up, you're new, you like what we're doing here, and want to join in, all you have to do is go to the website cardsforcubs.org, and you'll be able to see the 4 different things. Those are the 4 ways that you can participate in all the things that we've been talking about so far. So the first one was the card maker. If you click on the card makers, you're like, I make cards, like what we're doing right now. Click on that link and it'll bring you to the registration page. If you're a foster care agency, you just click on that link and you can go into request new cards. And then I guess we haven't gotten to sponsors. Well, I guess we can. Oh yeah, we did sponsors.
Yeah, talk about sponsors.
Sponsors on there as well will take you to sponsor a case for $20 per case. And then this one we haven't talked about, or we briefly talked about, is the volunteers, which is if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to come on over and sort with us there.
Yes. So we're having, again, the CFC day of sorting on April 20th.
April 20th.
That's a Saturday, so it's all day. So no school gets affected. Everyone can join in.
Yes.
And we'll most likely, we have in the past had like cards left over from sorting times. And I think it's done usually not all at once. So if we have cards left over, that means we'll have more opportunities throughout the year to come and volunteer. So I know a lot of times people in kids in school need volunteer hours. They've come by and just work throughout the day sorting and reviewing cards with us here in the office.
So be a lot of fun. Again, we're all volunteer based on this, so it takes a small army.
A small army. All right, next up, we've got the Have a Whaley Good Birthday
All right,
card.
the Whaley Good Birthday card.
So this, the only SVG here is the whale that came from our website. I think it's a set of 4 different whales and called Wacky Whales.
Wacky Whales.
Yeah. So they're super cute, and everything else is just kind of what we just kind of threw together, which is a little rectangle, circle, and a little sentiment typed out. And then I'm going to use some washi tape to add some sparkle.
Very nice. So we've got our little whaley. And then Andrea also is making some use of some washi tape as well there, too.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with this back piece. And for those of you that have been with us for a long time and understand the Barely Art product, one of the things that we really like about Barely Art is that it's not going to, when used correctly, it's not going to warp your paper, right? So in situations like this where you have a lot, I need to clean this stuff off a little bit. In situations like this where you have like really big pieces of paper that you need to glue down, you're not going to wrinkle it. It's not going to crinkle it. Not going to wrinkle it. Not going to crinkle it. I like that. Whenever you put it down.
Ooh, you know what's really cool? Speaking of card making things,
What's that?
what you were showing me, someone had called in or like messaged in about the clearly craft plastic that we have, and they used it to on embossing folders, and they really liked it because it doesn't crack.
Yes. So if you haven't heard about our newest project, it's called Clearly Craft Plastic. It's a bit of a tongue twister there, but we just call it Clearly here at the Barely Art headquarters. So Clearly is a PET plastic similar to the acetate plastic that's super, super clear. Ridiculously clear.
Super clear.
Can't even see it. We should grab some.
We have some. Oh, no, we don't.
We don't. That's the other one.
Do.
Oh, wait, is ours?
No, yeah, we have one here.
Okay, never mind. We have some.
Right.
So it's super, super clear, especially on camera. And it's double-sided protection on either side. So what that means is that there's a piece of film on one. Here it is, right here.
This is a package is open, so it looks a little beat up.
It's okay. I don't think they can even see that part of it, right? Okay, so this is this, right? You're like, oh, that's not that clear. Okay, it's because we haven't taken off the film. Like I said, it's double protected on both sides. Just in that way, it's able to deal with, like, for instance, if you're using the Cricut on it or just fingerprints in general. All right, so that's one side, right? It's getting clear on that one, right? Ooh. And it's also a bit of a magic trick. I guess I got to peel it all the way off. I was going to do one and then the other, and then I was going to show it later, but in this case, we're just going to peel it all the way off because it's okay. Okay, there we go. Get rid of all that static, right? Okay, that's one side, right? So it's already, look, it's already pretty clear, right? So this is probably about the level of a lot of other acetates, believe it or not.
Usually they have one film to cover, so it usually does get scratched up, especially in packaging with the plastic rubbing against each other.
Yeah, okay, now watch.
Ooh.
Okay, you can see it there, but when I get all the way off, ta-da! That is clearly craft plastic right there.
Mm-hmm.
Super clear. You can only really see in the reflections. We didn't use any acetate on this, but I'm going to put this down not where there's little pieces because it's a little bit staticky. We have a trick to remove that for when we're doing it, and I'm sure if you've been with us, you'll know what that is. Okay, so we're just going to set it down right here, and that is the craft plastic right there. It's super, super clear. It's also very durable too. So what Andrew was talking about here is that we had some comments. Oh my gosh, I can't even see it on there. It's invisible. We had some comments online on our reviews actually on Amazon that were talking about how they were using this to emboss or with embossing folders. So you can actually use this with embossing folders. It doesn't crack under the pressure of the embossing. It actually will fold to it as well. So it's great to do that type of thing if you're kind of going for the, like the, I guess the bathroom glass kind of look going on there. Yeah. You can do other different projects with it as well. It cuts pretty good. Works die cuts. A lot of people use it for stencils and stenciling too. So it's that thick as well.
So if that's more up your alley with your cards or projects, you could give it a try.
Yes, absolutely.
It is very durable and very clear. Looks really cool.
Durable and clear. And so clear I can't even see it. Okay, so that's clearly craft plastic.
But we're not using clearly craft plastic today.
Right now.
On another project, I'm sure we will soon. Yeah. But today is all about, again, cards for Cubs.
Yes.
So we're working on our really good birthday card right now.
Indeed. So going back to our card right now. Yes. And can we get someone to handle the door situation as well? All right. Thank you.
So we've got our little filming place is right in the front of the office. So anytime there's live, someone comes to the door. We're live. Yeah, so we're kind of stuck here because we're sitting here. But
it's okay. Oh, right. So we've got this stuff going on here. So we've got this guy.
This whale has some really tiny pieces.
Okay.
I'm warning you right now.
I've got. Ooh.
So aside from the eyes already, it's really the little pink cheek right there. They're super tiny. So just a little heads up.
Just a little heads up. Use some tweezers. Call it good.
If you want to make the whale larger, you can do so.
Yes.
But we're making it really small.
But we want to test the limitations of Barely Art Precision craft glue and this packaging. If you haven't seen this packaging, this is the newer packaging style we got going on. There are all, that's my fault. They all have different colors, but that's just for different sizes. It's all the same precision craft glue going on there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these two circles together. One of the things too, if you're designing cards and let's say that, or making cards and you haven't really made a lot of cards before, is that the way that you accomplish depth, I would say is a little bit different. So typically when it comes to cards, you still have to keep it relatively flat. Right? So we have to use, like lots of little layers and different things to kind of give that texture. Otherwise we typically just deal with like lots of cubies.
Right.
So we have to remind ourselves not to use too many cubies. So.
Yeah, I once forgot about that. I like cubie things up. Not crazy, but it was like 2 layers and it wouldn't fit in the envelope anymore.
Oops. Yeah, that's the other issue too, is that it's got to fit in an envelope as well. So then it gets a little funny. So as a quick reminder for everyone, those card requirements are, we want them first to be handmade, right? So that's what we're doing, right? We're hand making all of our cards here, as you see. The reason why, of course, is just because we want to be able to let these kids know that they are special and to show a little bit more appreciation than just a store-bought card, because anyone can just go buy store-bought cards, especially these agencies as well. And that's typically what they're used to. They're used to just going out and buying store-bought cards. Several of the ones we've talked to in the past before say like, oh yeah, we just ran out of, wherever they got theirs from, things like that. And so it's a blessing on our part for us to be able to provide that for them. The second...
Ooh, wait, before you go on and talking about handmade cards, I want to read something.
Okay.
So our customer service manager, I guess, she sent a review someone sent about the cards. I
Oh,
wanna
yes.
read
I
it.
did see that one, yes.
Yes, it was called Advantage Adoptions, and they said, wow, these cards are absolutely beautiful. They are Hallmark quality. Our families will love them. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So that's really cool. So I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for putting so much care into the card, into these cards. And that's what we mean. That's what makes the handmade so important. It's just like that love and care you put into each card is
seen.
Felt.
Yeah, it's felt, it's seen. And it goes a lot longer than just like, oh yeah, we bought, a card from Target or something like that. And I mean, man, those cards are expensive anyways. Jeez. I think the last card that I ever bought from there was like $5.
Yeah, if you recall I think it was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was last year, but it might have been. We had an interview. I went live with someone. I think her name was Samantha. And she was in the foster care system at some point in her life when she was younger.
Oh yes, I do remember that one.
Yeah, we tried to rebuild this card that she had received back then, and it was really beautiful. She said she held on to it for a long time. She doesn't know where it is now from moving, and now her in adult life. She's got a kid of her own, but she said that card really made a difference. She said she could remember the way it was written on. She remembered the way it looked, and it was very meaningful to her.
Aww.
And so it's just something that we're trying to do.
That's very sweet. Yes. Yeah, that's very sweet. Yeah, and so that's what we're trying to do, is trying to build those lasting memories. We might not actually see exactly how they're used, right? Obviously. There's definitely a lot of things that happen in situations, but honestly, at the end of the day, we don't need to see it, right? What we need to do is just be able to make our cards and show as much love as we possibly can, and then we'll let those caseworkers kind of do the rest about them. Okay, going back to the list.
Yes.
Numero dos.
Birthday or encouragement cards, which is what we have here today.
Exactly, yes. Birthday encouragement. And just as a reminder, too, that was just because those are the types of cards that our agencies request the most, right? And actually, as of right now, I think we need a little bit more on the encouragement side of it. So if you're wondering which ones to do, we need a little bit more encouragement. We've got a lot of birthdays right now. We could use some more encouragement cards.
Some more
just as a heads up.
Squeeze the day type cards.
If you want to go and update any of your stuff as well, you can do so through the same exact link. You just need to make sure you're signed in to your link or to your Cards for Cubs. So if you go to cardsforcubs.org, hit card makers, you can update the amount of cards there. Or if you've printed off your little donation form and you're about to send that in that donation form right there, you can just kind of cross it out, and we'll do it on the back end whenever we get there.
And then guideline number 3.
Guideline number 3 there is bundles of 10. Right, so the same thing we've talked about before. We just want to make sure that they're all bundled up. Bundled, so a question we get is like how to bundle them. It doesn't really matter how to bundle them necessarily. Use some string. You can use like rubber bands and things like that. It might damage the card, just depending on what kind of card it is. But as long as they're just together, I think probably the easiest thing to do, I would say, is just using like a little bit of like some paper and just taping it down. Yeah. And that's probably the easiest thing to do, so it doesn't damage your cards when you send them in. But a lot of you veteran card makers out there already, I'm sure, have your own methods on how to do it. Anyways.
And then guideline number 4.
Guideline number 4.
Pairing those cards with envelopes of appropriate sizes.
Yes. So one of the frustrations that we end up having sometimes is that we'll end up with a bunch of cards, but we don't have the envelopes to fit them. And oftentimes they'll end up with oversized envelopes because that's just kind of what we have. So we ask that we do that. And we also have questions on like what size cards to do as well. And what we say is kind of that like your typical A7, A6.
I think it's A6.
Yeah, it's in that size range. Like what you think of when you see a card, not like a folded piece of like a piece of copy paper size. That's a little bit too big on our end because of envelopes, right? So honestly, as long as you have envelopes with it too, it's probably going to be fine with it because that will be a standard card.
We got a question today, a slimline card.
Yes, slimline cards, yes. Slimline cards, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. We're just trying to make sure that we're as efficient as possible with our time on that. So yes. And then the last and number 5th guideline that we have here is that it needs to be blank or have a short sentiment inside of it, like what we're doing here as well.
Yes. So the blank one, short sentiment, people will ask what that kind of looks like. This one, for example, this lemon one has squeeze the day.
Squeeze the
Short
day.
sentiment, plenty of space for caseworkers to fill in personal information with those kids, like personal stories and encouragement for them. Or it can be blank like this one. Again, plenty of space to write something to those kids. Those are our 5 guidelines.
Those are the 5 guidelines.
Easy peasy. We'll accept those. We'll be happy to take those and send them off to the agencies.
Yes. Alrighty. So we're also using some cubies here, as you've seen. Andrea over here is using our white cubies, or polar cubies. I'm using our shadow cubies, or black cubies here. And so, as you can see, we have what is a cubie? Our cubies are these little adhesive foam tapes. They're industrial strength. They're really strong. They'll rip the paper before they themselves rip. And what we have here is we have it in black and white. The reason for the black or the white is just to see, or is to not see them, depending on what you're doing. In this case, it doesn't necessarily matter because we're only doing a single layer anyways. So you're not really going to see either one of them. But they do come in black and they do come in white and they come in strips. And they come with, well, okay, let me back up. They either come in a pack of white or a pack of black. And in that pack, there are strips and there are squares. And these are 1/8 of an inch thick. And then there's a 1/4 of an inch thick, which is double this size in squares and strips, all in one pack of either black or white.
Correct.
Yes, so those are our cubies. So in this project right here, we've used cubies and of course our Barely Art Precision Craft glue. And as you have seen, that precision tip is excellent in order to do little tiny features like that with our little whale friend here. I might call him a dolphin. Got dolphin vibes.
Dolphin vibes. Dolphins and whales are related though, right?
I mean, to some degree.
To some degree.
Alrighty, so we've got that there.
I'm adding some sparkly washi tape for a little fun effect.
Very nice. Add my little whale guy here. Add some other things on that side. Another common question. Oh, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat as well, either about Cards for Cubs or Barely Art or anything along those lines. Another question that we typically get to is about those agencies and who they are. Right? So like I mentioned before, we work, whenever it comes to foster care, there's a lot of different people that are involved that deal whenever the child is removed from the home or gets put into foster care, right? And so the ones that we've been able to connect to really well are the ones that are working directly with kids that are in foster care. And those places come from either the foster care agencies themselves, which would be like the agencies that actually have the homes, or not have the homes, but represent families, like your typical foster care family. They represent those families. So there's caseworkers that go out and work with them directly. There's also CASA, which is court-appointed special advocates, which are mandated by, every state's a little bit different, but it's mandated that whenever a child is in that situation where they've been removed from a home, there needs to be someone else there to represent the child. So they kind of follow along in that whole case. So we send a lot to CASA as well. And there's also CPS as well, which we don't send a whole lot to CPS. And it's different for each state too. It's a little confusing. It's either CPS or DPS, or there's a couple of different organization acronyms for it. And so they also can receive cards too. We don't give as many of that. So majority of the organizations that we're dealing with, that we're giving these cards to, are CASA and those foster care agencies. So the last time we were looking at it, it's just under around 300 or so agencies that we've actually sent them to. You can actually go to our website, cardsforcubs.org, and see a little map, which is fun.
With it smiles across the miles.
Smiles across the miles, yes. And you can see the location where all these are going, and a couple little testimonies down at the bottom as well.
We have some questions on YouTube.
Okay, let's hear them.
Tina says, hello from Ohio. I get the items I need to make them, or can I make my own?
All right.
So the card we have, this one is an SVG on the Barely Art website. and that is a whole card. On this one, it's just the whale SVG. As far as materials goes, you are free to use whatever materials you would like.
Yep. Including non-barely art ones.
Whatever card making products you have, whatever you're able to send as far as cards, we are happy with. So get creative as you want. Keep it simple. Either is very much welcome.
Yes, indeed. Use whatever it is you want with it. Any die cuts, any print and cuts, whatever it is that you want to do.
Tressa says, I'm new to this channel. Well, welcome,
Hello,
Tina.
and welcome.
Pamela says, how long have you been doing Cards for Cubs?
Okay, so that's a fun fact right there. So this is our 4th year, but our 5th drive. That one's a little confusing because this is the beginning of the 5th year. So this is our 5th actual card drive. It's an annual event that we just do in March, right? Yes. And the reason we just do it for March is because we end up usually getting around 50,000 cards or so. And that's a lot of cards, right? So the rest of the work actually happens behind the scenes after we receive those cards and getting them out to those agencies, making those connections, etc. So this is
volunteer based. Sometimes you need more time.
Indeed, yes, exactly, yes, absolutely. We need a little bit more time in order to get a lot of this stuff out. So with that, yes, this is our 5th year, or 5th. Yeah, this is the beginning of our 5th year doing this, our 5th drive, and it's gotten bigger and bigger pretty much every year. Year to year on it. And I think this year we've been able to make a lot more connections in terms of foster care agencies. And so a lot of those cards are getting out way faster than they ever have. And so to date already, just to kind of give you guys some extra stuff, is that we have reserved, even though we don't even have the cards in yet, we've reserved about 200 or so boxes already that are going to pretty much go out as soon as we pack them, unpack them all up, right? So about 200 boxes. So for those of you that are good with math, we have currently 80 sponsored cases, and we have 200 reserve cases going out too. So if you feel so led to help us in this fight and able to get in order to sponsor a case, and that will guarantee that that case gets to those agencies, and each case has 150 cards for 150 kids.
Let's see. We've got another question. Or let's see. Kathy says, love your cubies.
Oh, thank you so much, Kathy.
Leslie says, hello from NYC.
Hello.
And Catherine says, question, is the
yes,
you can count on me card / sentiment acceptable?
You can count on me. I think so.
So there, I'm assuming you're talking about one of our cards. It's a little calculator.
Yes.
I think it's called You Can Count on Me card.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I think that's an acceptable phrase. So I think, I think that's good. We don't really have a list of acceptable phrases per se, or what's not allowed. It's we do our best sort of to
and remember,
it's
not going directly to the kid anyway. So there's several layers of filtering that occur. So obviously, all of you guys here are going to be filtering it as well to different things that you think that are appropriate. And then, of course, we'll do another layer of filtering. And then whenever we give those to the agencies themselves, they can choose whether or not, or which ones they want to use with it as well. So there's a lot of different areas there. And if you're ever in doubt, just leave it blank. Make it really easy. A fun little calculator on it would be great anyways. I am copying you for this little thing here.
Ah, copycat.
Boop. Just feel like it needs a little bit more
pizzazz.
Yeah, a little more sparkliness to it.
Oh, Brady, my card is set. I lost my pen. There we go. Okay.
Very nice.
So that is all the information we have on Cards for Cubs today. Let's see. Tina says, hi from Ohio. How do I get items I need to make them, or can I make my own? Oh, I think she repeated her question before. The items we used here today, for example, the SVGs are free on our website, bailey.art.
So the designs.
Yes, these are the designs here, not the actual physical card itself. This is a digital download, as well as this whale is a digital download. You can use the products that we sell on our site on Bailey Art, like the cubies or the glue that we used, or you can use your own.
Yep, you can use whatever it is that you have. You can, there's different, like if you just search card making in general, there's different types of like just papers that you can just cut up and do different things, which you have a lot of. You can do it completely from scratch, which is kind of what I think a majority of card makers do, especially with like little die cuts and and embossing and all these other things and folders. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
Or you can kind of take our approach to it, which is more of just using the Cricut, right? And so, or a Cricut or a Silhouette or whatever cutting machine that you have, because that way you can kind of pull in a lot of different designs that you might have seen somewhere else, or something that, you know, might not necessarily be a card right now, but could definitely be a card later.
Right.
So we have a lot of different things on our website, barely.art. Just search what it is that you're looking for, and there's probably something there. So like if you search, I mean, if you don't want to do a whale, for instance, you can search a mermaid. And I'm pretty sure we have some mermaids up there as SVGs. So you can use those and stick them on.
So you can check those out, barely.art. Those are free SVGs. And if you want to learn more information about Cards for Cubs, you are curious about volunteering, or see the full list of card guidelines and our suggestions, you can go to cardsforcubs.org and check that out. There is 4 main sections for card makers, foster care agencies, anyone who wants to sponsor and donate money to get those kindness cases to foster care agencies. And then last, volunteers who want to come in person and help us sort cards on the day of sorting, April 20th.
April 20th.
A Saturday.
It is a
Just
Saturday.
A reminder.
Yes.
So if you're in the DFW area, check that out. You do, if you want to volunteer, need to sign up.
Please.
If you want to send in cards, you also need to register.
Yes.
This helps us kind of get that expected number of supplies ready for boxing things up and sending them out.
Very important to make sure that registration goes in, because we'd hate to have X amount of cards that are registered in and then, you know, oversell pretty much like how many cards we actually have. So we already have around 200 registered for this year already. So we need enough to cover that at least.
Yes. So again, send in those cards. We're really excited about them.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm finished up with my card. How'd you do?
Yes, I'm done as well.
All right, you want to show the people?
Yes, here is what we have right now.
Handmade birthday encouragement cards with blank or short sentiments. Ta-da!
Yep. And then we'll need to make 6 more of them, bundle them up, and separate them, because this is an encouragement and this is a birthday card, so the birthday cards go together.
Here's some more of the examples we got. Birthday, and then we have some more encouragement. So this is what we did this March. Again, Cards for Cubs is still the mailbox is still very much open. Send those. You can send those cards from now until March 31st, and we will gladly accept and continue to grow the tower of cards we have here in front of the office, so we can pack up them.
Usually turns into mounds. So we're getting to mounds. I remember the last couple of weeks there's a lot.
Yes.
When I get back, there's going to be a ton, I'm sure.
Righty. And that is our last slide for Cards for Cubs. If you have any questions, feel free to go on the cardsforcubs.org website, and there's a chat there. You can also go to our social media. The Instagram is Cards for Cubs. If you want to message or direct message us there. And we are happy to answer any questions you guys have. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, again, you can register or sponsor or order, if you're a foster care agency, order those kindness cases on the website, cardsforcubs.org.
Yep.
All right, I think that's it. Thank you so much.